So good morning to everybody. My name is Fabio Croci. As Valentina said, I am also the project manager of the co-funded Erasmus Plus project named SkillNet, which is under the umbrella of Skillman. I'm today together with my colleague Federica. Federica is also one of the main support persons to the team of the Skillman project. So you have probably seen her in several emails and other meetings already achieved by the Skillman project. I am a newcomer in this peer learning club #1, so you will help me, all of you, to better manage this short meeting we will conduct together this morning. As you've understood, time is running, so I'm not going to say a lot of things. I would like to say welcome to all of you and to our guests. We are not so much, so I would suggest to present yourself so that we can have in a few seconds a feedback about which is your professional role and your background, so that we can better focus the analysis we are going to conduct this morning. So I can see that there are also people I already know. Let me mention, for instance, Luis de la Torre. Are you connected, Luis?
Yes.
Hi, good morning, Luis.
Morning, Fabio. Yeah, so I proceed with my brief introduction. As Fabio said, I am Luis de la Torre. I am a professor in UNED, that's the Spanish Open University from Spain. My background is on physics, although I made my PhD on computer science, and that's what I am professor of in the computer science engineering school. And I am also co-founder of a company called Nebulous Systems, which provides solutions for developing, using, and effectively managing remote laboratories for STEM education, in higher education mostly.
Thank you, Luis. Of course, your expertise is very interesting and valuable in this peer learning club, but let's go on with the other participants. I would like to ask to Andres Munoz from AER to present himself. Let me just say that the Assembly of European Region is also one of the partners of the SkillNet project, and probably you have already seen Andres in other events. Please, Andres, you can introduce yourself.
Hello, Fabio. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Actually, I don't know if I have to introduce myself, because the other day I participated in the webinar, so I don't want to keep talking about myself. But in the case, if you were not there, so my name is Andres. I work for the Assembly of European Regions Secretariat, and I am the program manager of 3 youth programs, or youth policy partnerships, as you call them. The first one is on mobility. The second one is trying to boost youth participation with our regional youth councils. And the last one is an academy. We call it a summer academy because we try to bring together regional officials, policy experts, and young activists to discuss on burning topics for the European Union. So this is mainly my role in the Assembly of European Regions.
Thank you very much, Andres. So let's go on with the other friends we have today. We have Miranda connected. Can you activate your microphone, please, Miranda?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I am Miranda Mansaku, the Executive Director of the Association Udătimi Lir, Liberi di Viaggiare, in Durrës, Albania, Western Balkan. It's an NGO working on environmental tourism and cultural heritage sector. Also, a part of our work is a youth center where we organize activities with youths. From the background, I've studied philosophy, sociology, and law. I'm a trainer in different topics, and that's all.
Thank you very much, Miranda. Perfect. And finally, let me introduce Mr. Biplap, if I'm not mistaken, from Bangladesh. Can you connect your audio? Yes, we can see you. Good morning.
Yes, and good morning to all. I am Biplap Bikash Pal Chaudhuri, a TV teacher working of Department of Technical Education in Bangladesh. Basically, I am agriculturist, specialty in fisheries. I am especially working on vocational sectors. Now I am in charge of newborn research cells of PIVETs in our DTU. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks to you. Thank you to all of you very much. I will start saying something quite...
I also say hello. Fabio already introduced myself, but I just wanted to say hello to everybody and welcome. We have already met in the different peer learning clubs discussion and during some webinars. So yeah, just to say hello and nice to meet you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Federica. I would like to start to remind to all of you that this peer learning club, the number one, is very, very similar to the core business of the skill. I mean, all the peer learning club have several topics which are all at the same level in terms of priority, but this is something that is particularly related to the Skillman project. This is what we started to do in 2014, so 6 years ago. And today, I think that even if we are a very small panel, it is a very good thing, the fact that we have represented several different forms of expertise. This was the original Skillman project, in which we were supposed to put together researchers, teachers, NGOs, policymakers, in order to brainstorm everybody around the drivers of change of the advanced manufacturing, the new ongoing and future challenges for the sector. The sector initially was the automotive sector, then we enlarged it to the advanced manufacturing. Today, we should be able to update something that has been already discussed during those years, because all the activities we have managed under the Skillman umbrella were coming from these kind of activities. I mean, putting together different expertise, brainstorming of minds was able to bring priorities, and we have developed, as you probably already know, several curricula, several policy backgrounds to boost the policymakers' job during this year. Now we have new challenges. We have also new contexts after the pandemic situation and the 2020 economic new crisis. I think that we can discuss better how to boost the strategies to the policymakers. You probably are aware of the fact that the new long-term strategies from the European Commission are ongoing. They will set up, they are setting up the new main objectives for the period 2021 to 2027. There are a lot of money and resources and public administrations involved in this decision process. We can contribute a little bit with an official position and stating some kind of priorities under our advanced manufacturing sector perspective. So I know you have already done some discussion in the Basecamp management platform. I've seen something about the, let's say, some hints, some clue on how to develop it. Now I would like to focus on what we are looking now in this slide, which is a first few items about what we can focus in our discussion. So there are a lot of challenges for the education system, for the vocational training system, in relation to which are the new skills of tomorrow. You know, technology is evolving, and there are a lot of requests from the industries in terms of new skills to be continuously updated. And of course, there is the challenge on how to ensure that the VET system, the school system, is able to answer in time for those new skills evolution. Now I just stop because I want to hear a first feedback from.
Yeah, maybe Fabio, if I can say a few words. Actually, what we would like to do today is to discuss. We only have 15 minutes, so we will have to speed up a little bit our discussion because we will have to come out with some ideas about strategies, about these priorities and challenges that have already been identified in the different peer learning clubs by all of you. In particular, Luis was particularly active in the discussion, so probably, Luis, if you have anything to add, feel free to do that during the discussion. And well, these are the main priorities and challenges. Maybe we can just quickly read all of them to keep in mind and to refresh what we have already been discussing in the peer learning clubs. So we can come out with strategies to propose then in the plenary section because we only have 15 minutes. So we would like to take the maximum from this discussion. So if we can quickly read this, if you want, I can do it loud, or Fabio, if you want to read them loud, so everybody is on the same page for the discussion, and then quickly move on to the brainstorming.
Please go on, Federica.
Okay. So with the first one we have said is the education system able to embed and manage innovation generated by the so-called twin transformation, green and digital. The second one is focus on anticipation of skills evolution for innovating and updating curricula, LTTS, more effective sector-based strategies, and increased employability. The third one is pedagogy, rethinking on how students are prepared for the future, referring to digital and green revolution and diffusion of the distance learning after the COVID crisis. And so these, just 1 second. Yeah. Then integration in education of new methodologies, immersive training for managing the digitalization of work, and then
sorry,
empowerment.
Federica, we cannot see now your slide.
Really?
It was a blank screen.
Now? Can you see it now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Integration of education of new methodologies, immersive training for managing the digitalization of work, empowerment and upskilling of teachers, trainers, and multi-stakeholders for innovation and future-proof education. So these are the main challenges and priorities that have been indicated by many of you during the discussion. So we would like to hear more from you because what we have to do today is to discuss in the workspace all together. We can even use the chat room if you prefer to type your main concerns. And then we will have to present planned strategies to come out with proposals to be presented in the plenary session. Of course, this is just a draft because then the discussion will be continued in the different peer learning clubs. So I don't know, well, how do you want to proceed? What would you like to add? Luis, maybe would you like to say something more on this, considering that you were very active in the discussion on Basecamp?
Yes, maybe there is one thing I wanted to point out in the line. I was recently attending a webinar by Engineers Ireland, and they made an interesting survey at a national level, asking engineers there, engineering teachers there in the university, about the kind of laboratory work they did. And the result was that around 1/3, so 32% actually, of the laboratory work they did for advanced manufacturing techniques and engineering topics were computer-based. So I found this interesting because, you know, even though hands-on work is very important for training of engineers and so on, actually you know, in the reality context, most of the laboratory work is already done through a computer, through computer-based software and interfaces, which in turn control the hardware for the experiment. So I think this was interesting also because that's the direction where the world is moving, right, towards Industry 4.0 and so on. So probably workers in the future in this field are going to be more and more used on interacting with the devices already through through computer applications and not so much with their own hands. So that
so
was
you, Luis, for example, this one you think could fit like one of the priorities and challenges that we have identified about the importance of integration in education of new methodologies for immersive training, for example.
Exactly.
Good. Okay. So first of all, exactly, Federica, maybe we can check if the priorities are matched by our friends connected today. So as soon as you can go back to your two main previous slides. Yeah, so those are the priorities already identified. Do we agree? Is there somebody who's not doesn't fit with some of the ones already read by Federica? Probably there are several points we can also add. So if you have some other suggestion, you can go on, or we can start immediately to think about the strategies to put in action those priorities.
Yeah, maybe we can.
To boost, sorry, Federica.
Yeah.
To boost the discussion, I want also to ask to our friends, and if you think that a couple of other focus can be of some help. First of all, let's say that we didn't put any dimension of transnationality. I mean, the transnational recognition of competencies of a certification of curricula. Is this a priority or not? Of course, I'm saying this because from our past perspective, this was a challenge. I mean, the economy is transnational nowadays. So the fact that the skills should be developed also in a transnational way is something that we can put on the table. And the second aspect is the social inclusion. Coming back to the point you are commenting now, Luis, there is also a risk in the digitalization of the e-learning activities, which is the fact that the persons who cannot access in terms of competencies or in hardware and facilities and whatever to those technologies, they risk also to be put apart from the employment high-level skills. So we have faced this in the Skillman approach through our ethical dimension. We try to boost this topic at the top of the policymaking decision, but I don't know if this is shared with you guys, with the person present today. So please, if you have anything to suggest or to comment, please feel free. I can also ask if I can suggest first intervention from Biplab, because your perspective also outside Europe can be very useful, and the same from Miranda, because again, you are, even if in the border of the European Union, you're not involved directly in the European countries. So any feedback?
Yeah, and Biplab was actually very involved also in the discussion as well. I remember you commenting in different peer learning clubs.
Yes, thank you so much. It is a very nice and good initiative and out of the box currently. But in skill arena in our country, as well as in my experience, I also like to emphasize the production-based skills education, production related. Yes, we can. We also impose the green and digitals. For greening the skills, we must emphasize in the agricultural sector. All of the world will all think of the industrialization, but without agriculture, greening practical agricultural sector skills, you cannot imagine the green world. Digitalization in agriculture sector must be included in. And I also request the production-based skills education as well as research-based skills Maybe a good.
Sorry, Biplab, do you mean for skills anticipation? Do you mean for that?
Again, please interrupted.
You are talking about surveys. Do you mean using them for skills anticipation?
Production is skills education, production related. I also emphasized on agriculture sectors, production related. We are also not include the production only for theoretical, but also the first one, twin transformation, green and digitals, so-called. Education system can be embedded and manage innovation generated, the so-called and the green and digital. If you want to think the skills in green arena, we have to production related skills.
I think I understand perfectly, Biplab, because let me make an example of the consequence of what you are saying. We've been involved in a little project, but it is an example of merging advanced manufacturing and agricultural challenges. It was a project based in Africa to boost the skills of the technicians to use drones in order to manage the usage of fertilizers and pesticides to decrease the usage of these kind of activities. So indeed, I think that we can also merge those topics into an advanced manufacturing sector approach, because the cross-sectorial cooperation is increasing. I mean, technology is also to be used in agriculture and in other sectors, so there are contaminations that must be, of course, anticipated and analyzed. Is this an example can match Biplab, just to understand if I have at least understood a little bit of what you were saying?
Also we have to think about the organic agriculture also in mind. Therefore, organic, the world is coming for nature. Though we have to think the organ, or not only the artificial things, but also organic agriculture. Agriculture not only the cereal product, but also livestock, fisheries, also environment, any other all our perspectives may be included in this. And agricultural-based industries maybe in the future world emerging in our nations.
Thank you very much. Very clear, Biplab. Miranda, do you want to say something, maybe also about the social inclusion issues or other issues and priorities you have in mind?
In fact, I agree completely with the problem of inclusion and the part that a lot of persons cannot participate actively in this digitalization process, because in Albania we have problem with internet, but a lot of people are not aware of digital skills and digital tools. This was one of the problems faced during the online school last year, from March till June, that the elementary and secondary school, also the university, but for the universities it was another problem. But for the elementary and secondary schools, that a lot of students couldn't even participate in the process of learning, and that's why the government decided to make a resume of all the most important topics in different themes about the students and the pupils who couldn't reach. So I think that this is something that we have to be aware, and we have to find, let's say, a middle solution for inclusion of both parts in this process, and in everything that we will plan for the future, that maybe they can be a part, especially in Albania.
Very
that
good.
I
Thank you.
present.
Thank you very much, Miranda. Yes,
I just would like to remind you that we are a little bit running out of time,
Federica.
so we should try to
come
out with something.
Yes, we are coming to an end, which is a request to Andres, because I will give you the microphone, Andres, if you have any comment on what has been said, but I also have a specific question for you, because your background and your stakeholders approach, I mean, from the policymakers' point of view, is very interesting. About the anything you have to say, but about the transnational recognition, we are facing here in Scalman also some kind of delays from the national regional authorities in all the system for boosting the improvement of curricula and the delivering of curricula in the VET and the school system. Because it seems that even if we have a NEC-VET system in Europe, you know, the fact that we have a common framework to develop ECAVET to quality assurance and EQF to leverage the same tools in all the national and regional countries, then we are facing a lot of time delays in this development. Do you agree? Do you have any comment on this? Do you want to add something? Please feel free.
Yes, I actually was trying to catch up with the whole discussion, and I was reading the slides, and actually I think it's quite a comprehensive approach. For me, as Miranda was saying, you know, the integration and inclusion matters is quite important for this topic, like how we can make the digital infrastructure accessible to everyone. I mean, if the pandemic is accelerating the digital transformation, it could actually widen the gap between vulnerable groups or minorities and people with more opportunities to gain these skills. And to finish, I'd like to say, because I know that we have to finish now, I think another important point is how to recognize transversal competencies and soft skills within informal learning and mobility schemes. I think it is quite important to develop these curricular at the European level.
Good.
We have a project. For instance, we have a project from one of our member regions, Wallonia, Belgium region. So they are trying to implement a tool of self-assessment for the trainees, for the participants to become aware of the skills that they have gained throughout the process.
Good. Thank you. Please, Federica, point down also the fact that the social inclusion issue is affecting not only the skills, but also the infrastructure. So we have two aspects, as Andres was also saying now. So, okay.
I just would like to add one thing that we haven't discussed here, but maybe we can continue then the discussion on Basecamp, is about skills anticipation, because we are talking about advanced manufacturing sector and sectoral development. And as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, this is also a very important issue to be considered, because we should probably, and skills anticipation probably requires a very huge effort in terms of coordination among different stakeholders at different level to work all together to collect data, and also to work together in a common strategy to work and to develop demand-driven trainings.
Yes, this is something,
in my opinion, a very tricky point for the development of advanced manufacturing.
Yeah, perfectly. This is, in fact, the Skillman approach. If I can start now, not as a moderator, but as a content proposer, this approach of the skills anticipation should be a systematic one. Actually, it is an episodic activity at the national, transnational, without any, let's say, continuously ongoing activity. From Skillman, we are proposing an ILO-SCOL-COVO approach, which should be a continuously activity, like the one we are doing during the last years in the subgroups of the Skillman network. It could be a proposal to boost all this, of course, not only the advanced manufacturing sectors, but all the other activities, in order to be able to respond just in time to the challenges. I mean, like it happened this year, a lot of things have changed. So we should be able to react in time to the new challenges with new strategies to be adapted on time. This is something I would like to add in your list. But anyway, Federica, can you remind me what are the next slides? Why do we have other two blank slides?
We just have 2 minutes. Valentina is telling me that we have 2 additional minutes to wrap up and to write down the main points of our discussion here, like to summarize in 3 points, maybe what we have said. The first one is that I have is laboratory work for immersive training. And just
okay,
tell me how.
Sorry, Federica, let me prioritize something. So here we have different points which must be merged together with the focuses of the other previous activity you have done. For sure, we have the digitalization and the green and digital issue. Now we have to think about strategies, but of course we don't have 2 minutes to say anything in terms of wide strategies. But let's make a general question. Where do we want the policymakers to invest? Invest money, invest resources in the forthcoming years? Well, it seems that we have said, for sure in the methodology and pedagogical, not pedagogical as Julian was saying, the andragogical, but anyway, how to boost the skills of the learners and of the teachers in terms of skills and infrastructure. So eventually we can say that we need to invest in infrastructure and in competencies for the digitalization of learning, of training. Is it something we can write down?
Sorry, Fabio, I don't want to. They are telling me that everybody else is already in the plenary room, so we really need to close, and the discussion will be held then on Basecamp. This is just to highlight the main points we have discussed and that we can put quickly here to present on the plenary discussion, and then we will keep on discussing on Basecamp. So the question, keep in mind the question that Fabio asked, and then we will take it over there.
Okay, because can you just write 3 words here? Please, can you just write 3 words here?
Okay, please, tell me the words.
Digitalization, social inclusion, skills anticipation,
multi-stakeholder. Yeah.
Yeah, we also mentioned the green, so digitalization, green in the middle.
Yeah, we'll adjust now the presentation.
Okay, so maybe then we will add something, but do you agree with those main points just to be mentioned in the plenary? Transnational recognition, sorry. This was another important point. Federica.
Pardon?
Transnational recognition.
Ah, yeah, you're right. So I think, yeah, this is these are the main issues that we discussed today, and that we shall pick up in the discussion that we are going to take over on Basecamp. And of course, start thinking about it. And if you have additional ideas, the discussion will be open to everybody on Basecamp.
Yeah. Sorry, when you say green, please write down green / cross-sectorial cooperation.
You're right.